Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. They've known. Newcastle approach questioned amid Alexander Isak for Liverpool transfer latest. Liverpool have been warned Newcastle United's difficulty in completing transfer business could scupper their plans to sign Alexander Isak this summer. The Reds have targeted Isak to bolster their attacking options and had a £110 million bid rejected by Newcastle earlier this month. Liverpool remain interested in Isak but are not planning on making a second bid as things stand and are instead keeping a watching brief of developments on Tyneside. Isak continues to train away from the Newcastle first team with Magpies boss Eddie Howe having admitted the player is almost certain not to feature in their Premier League opener at Aston Villa next Saturday. The Sweden international, who hasn't played at all during preseason, has informed Newcastle of his desire to leave and has turned down the offer an improved new contract. The Magpies, though, will not entertain an exit unless they can recruit replacements, and have already missed out on both Hugo Ekitike, who joined Liverpool from Eintracht Frankfurt, and RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, who has agreed to move to Manchester United. And Newcastle legend Alan Shearer believes Isak's future will only be resolved once his former club have brought in other forwards, with the Magpies still hopeful of finalizing a deal for Brentford's Jon Wissa. The biggest thing they have to do is, somehow, sort the Isak situation out, and if they can't get anyone in, I guess that means he isn't going anywhere, said Shearer. Eddie will have to be at his persuasive best to try and turn Isak's head around because it has been turned in terms of him wanting to go to Liverpool. On the proviso that he does want to go and Eddie can't turn his head, then you get the money. But prior to that, you have to get people in to replace him. Newcastle have thus far only brought in winger Anthony Elanga and lone goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale this summer, with their efforts not helped by the departure of sporting director Paul Mitchell at the end of June and the absence of chief executive Darren Eales through health problems. And Shearer added, "Why can't Newcastle get business done? I don't know whether it's to do with the fact they don't have a chief executive or sporting director. They've known for months now that the chief executive was leaving, so I'm pretty surprised that one hasn't been announced as yet. The sporting director left a couple of months ago now, and they've known that. So that's a big surprise that those spaces haven't been filled. Whether that has anything to do with Newcastle's lack of business and the number of players that have said no to them, I don't know. It's not a good look." Speaking to Betfair, Shearer praised Liverpool's transfer dealings this summer and is convinced they will bolster another area of their squad. Liverpool have been very, very strong in the transfer market, and they'll be very strong again next season, he said. There are still a few questions defensively, and I'd guess that centre-half is still a position that they want to fill, certainly with added numbers because they are light in that position. It wouldn't surprise me if they're in the market for another centre-half. Liverpool, with the signings that they've made and the position that they're in, I think they're going to be really tough to stop on all counts this season. Alexander Isak to Liverpool takes new twist as Newcastle United make transfer decision. Newcastle United are reportedly willing to keep Alexander Isak on the sidelines indefinitely rather than engage in the possibility of him joining Liverpool this summer. The Reds have made Isak their chief striker target and saw a £110 million bid for the player emphatically turned down by the Magpies earlier this month. Liverpool will not make a second offer unless Newcastle change their stance over not selling the player, which has remained steadfast since Isak first informed the club of his desire to leave earlier in the summer. And now the Telegraph has claimed Newcastle's Saudi Arabia owners have told Isak he will not be allowed to join Liverpool for any price during the current transfer window despite having previously valued the player at nearer to £150 million. It is also suggested Newcastle will maintain that viewpoint even if they are successful in signing one or more forwards this summer. They have targeted Brentford's Jon Wissa but have missed out on RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, who has opted to join Manchester United instead. The report is in contrast to comments from Eddie Howe made on Friday evening after Newcastle's 2-2 friendly draw with Espanyol at St James Park, when he was asked if the club could force Isak to stay. "It's not that straightforward. Otherwise we would have done that a long time ago," said Howe. "I don't think we're in a position to be able to do that currently." With Isak presently banished from Newcastle's first-team squad, there would now seem the prospect of the Sweden international remaining out of action for a lengthy period with the transfer window not closing until September 1st. Howe has already stated he doesn't expect the player to be reintegrated into the squad before next Saturday's Premier League opener against Aston Villa, with Isak also not likely to feature in Newcastle's first home game of the season the following week, against Liverpool. It is claimed Newcastle are not happy with the behavior of Isak, his representatives or Liverpool over the transfer pursuit, and that player won't be selected for the Magpies again until he accepts the decision not to sell him to the Reds. That would leave Newcastle running the risk of being without their most prized asset and last season's leading scorer for an indefinite period. Liverpool remain keen on Isak but for now are maintaining a watching brief as the situation at Newcastle becomes increasingly ugly with no immediate end in sight. Alexander Isak to Liverpool transfer given frightening verdict as price tag set. The new Premier League season gets underway on Friday, August 15th. When defending champions Liverpool welcome Bournemouth to Anfield, 8 p.m. kickoff. The Reds will be favourites to reclaim their crown after romping to the title last time out. And, despite their rivals all spending heavily in the transfer market, one former top-flight striker believes Arnslot's side are just one signing away from wrapping up top spot already. Liverpool have certainly not rested on their laurels since lifting their 20th championship, committing nearly £300 million in transfer fees to sign Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong and Georgi Mamardashvili. They have recouped significant fees themselves, though with the sales of Luis Diaz, Jarell Quansah, Caoimhin Kelleher, Tyler Morton and Trent Alexander-Arnold bringing in more than £120 million. The coffers will soon be further boosted by the sale of Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal for an initial £46.3 million. Despite the rapid rise of 16-year-old Rio Ngumaha, Núñez's impending departure leaves the Reds looking a little light in attacking areas, especially given there is uncertainty over the future of Federico Chiesa. But that would change if they land their number one transfer target Alexander Isak. Liverpool had a £110 million bid for the Newcastle United superstar rejected last week. And Clinton Morrison believes it would be game over in title race even before a ball has been kicked if the Reds get their man. "We can't really say until the window's shut," said the former Birmingham City, Crystal Palace and Republic of Ireland international forward when asked about the battle for Premier League glory. But if Liverpool get Isak, no one's stopping them. Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, and you forget about Mohamed Salah, he's still one of the best players in the world. Liverpool's attack would be frightening. They're my favourites, but I don't think it'll be as easy as last season. Liverpool have no plans to make a second bid for Isak as things stand, but they haven't ended their interest and are keeping a watchful eye on developments at Newcastle, who are desperately trying to sign at least one striker themselves. And asked whether the 25-year-old will stay or go, Morrison said, "The longer it goes, the more I think Liverpool might get him. But it's hard to know. Right now I'm 50-50. I thought when they got Ekitike that was it. But maybe not, maybe Isak was always their number one. The window shuts September 1st, so it could go down to the wire. If Newcastle bring in two strikers, then 100% Isak will go. You can't have three strikers of that quality at the same time. So watch this space. This could be the big late window deal." Wirtz's move from Bayer Leverkusen could eventually cost the Reds £116 million. That would be a British transfer record. But it's clear that Liverpool would have to smash the record before then if they are to land Isak this month. And Morrison said, "If Liverpool want Isak, you're talking £120 to £150 million. Newcastle don't need to sell. He's got 3 years left on his deal. So they can make it difficult. Pay £140 to £150 million. But Liverpool just sold Luis Diaz. They're selling players and have money to spend. They're giving it a real go this season." Morrison, speaking exclusively to Free Bets, added, "They've signed Ekitike and Wirtz is a fantastic footballer. But if they get Isak, it's one of Liverpool's best windows ever, without a shadow of a doubt. Those three are top-quality players. We don't know loads about Ekitike yet. He hasn't played in the Premier League, but he's scored goals for fun in Germany. Wirtz is a special player, by the way. Top player and a fantastic signing. And Isak, superstar, proven in the Premier League. His ability is second to none. That'd be a fantastic signing. Before even mentioning Frimpong and Kirkez, who was brilliant last season with Bournemouth, this would probably be Liverpool's best window ever. New champions 24 to 25. The Inside Story film to be released. A brand new LFC original film will take you behind the scenes of Liverpool's spectacular 2024-25 Premier League triumph. Available to all Red Video members from Tuesday, August 12th. Champions 24 to 25. The Inside Story features in-depth interviews with the playing squad and head coach Arne Slot. Across 72 minutes, Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, Alisson Becker, and more relive a campaign that culminated in unforgettable scenes of jubilation at Anfield. The program also honors the memory of Diogo Jota, whose sudden and tragic passing in July left the club devastated. Jota was, as ever, an influential figure throughout the season, having a huge impact on a record-equaling 20th English League title with vital contributions at key moments. Elsewhere, Alexis Mac Allister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Curtis Jones discuss a midfield synergy that fueled Liverpool's hunt for success. Andy Robertson, Ibrahima Konate, and Connor Bradley offer insight on the defensive fortitude that kept the Reds ahead of the chasing pack. And the words of Slot, spanning the entirety of his historic first season on Merseyside, shed light on the thinking, planning, and execution on the road to victory. Liverpool U18s beat Steven Gerrard Academy in final preseason friendly. Liverpool U18s won 4-2 against the Steven Gerrard Academy in their final preseason friendly of the summer. Goals from Josh Sonny Lambie, Tyler Martin, AJ Yegwa, and a trialist saw Simon Wiles' side to victory at the academy on Saturday. The Young Reds League campaign begins with a trip to Stoke City next Saturday, 11 a.m. British Summer Time kickoff. Assistant coach Anthony Ryan told LiverpoolFC.com, "We would like to thank the Steven Gerrard Academy for this game, which was important for us as our last preseason outing. The boys have worked really hard in preseason, and we can't wait to get going." Thanks for watching. Like and comment and subscribe.